Hey, before I get started here, this is me from the future. The video's already been recorded. It's getting ready to post. And we learned that YouTube demonetized it. I talk about that later. You're going to hear me. This is one of the reasons why independent media is struggling, is because things like this happen. YouTube is too weary to put ads on videos that discuss important items like this. I'm not going to stop talking about things like this because it's demonetized, but I would ask you this: if you're in a position to support this channel and independent media specifically, click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month, or head over to my Patreon, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, and help support independent media in the face of important news stories like this that need to be covered, whether I get paid or not. So if you can support, I would appreciate it very much. And now, on with the video. If you needed any more of a reminder that we live in a dangerous world and these are dangerous times, and these dangerous times require sober-minded, serious leadership from our elected officials, it was New Year's Eve leading into New Year's Day when two suspected terror attacks took place. One in New Orleans, one in Las Vegas. The one in New Orleans, they are suspecting, I think still suspecting, that it may be coordinated. It might not be just one lone asshole who committed the heinous act, the murderous, terroristic act. And in the wake, in fact, we'll get to it. We won't bury the lead here. The alleged attacker, he's dead, was alleged, we'll just read this headline from the AP. U.S. Army veteran who killed 15 in New Orleans attack was inspired by the Islamic State. Now, going back to the fact that this American citizen, born here, educated here, served his country in the United States Army, became a terrorist vessel for ISIS, you would think that Trump supporters would think to themselves, wait a minute, ISIS? Donald Trump has said time and time and time again that he eradicated ISIS. He defeated ISIS like a mighty warrior. Well, if that's the case, then how are attacks still being carried out by soldiers of ISIS? They won't ask that question, though, because it would diminish the glimmer of the dear leader in their eyes, and they can't have that. Donald Trump, I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm going to talk about Senator John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana where this terrorist attack took place. And I'm going to paint a picture for you that is clear to everyone of exactly how not serious these people are. Before the facts are even in, this incoming president of the United States is pointing the finger at the southern border as the cause. And only hours later, after it was found that he was wrong, he said Trump was right about everything. Well, we'll get to all of this. But first, I want to read this post from Truth Social of just how not serious Republicans are in the face of very serious crises. When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, capitalized for some reason. But it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. All kinds of nonsense and lies and disinformation and propaganda and not serious words from a man who's going to be in the position of the most serious position in the world. That was at 10:48 a.m. on the 1st of January. At 12:08 a.m. the next day, I guess it's not only a couple hours later, it's many hours later, he says Trump was right about everything, after we've already learned that the thing he just warned about and took credit for and said he was right about was wrong. Yeah. you need any more evidence that there is a concerted effort among these people to not take it seriously, it's John Kennedy, the doofusy, foghorn, leghorn senator from Louisiana, who, in the middle of a presser addressing the mass casualty event in his state, he starts making jokes and taking shots at the media about what position of the aisle they're on, whether it be left or right, in a dig against NBC News. Again, not taking the moment seriously. I don't know if it was because he was drunk still. I don't know. But he's certainly not taking this as seriously as he should, which is to say he's not taking it seriously at all. Watch this.
Can I say something, Riker? Tell me who you're with.
WDSU.
WDSU. Okay, and CBS.
And NBC's over here on the right.
Oh, that's an unusual position.
I don't get it.
You wouldn't. Look.
We deserve better. We are owed better from our elected officials. Speaking of that, Marjorie Taylor Greene, not to be outdone in doofusdom, in moronic messaging, she tweeted this. This comes in 3 parts. Top part, New Orleans terrorist attacker is said to have come across the border in Eagle Pass 2 days ago. Shut the border down. Who did our government bomb lately that is taking it out on innocent Americans? Who did our government bomb, Marge? Who did our government bomb, Marge? You're a member of Congress. You have access to classified, unfortunately, you have access to classified information. You would have this information. You'd be able to know. You'd be able to ascertain this information. Instead of just riling up the base with lies about the origin of this vehicle and the motivations behind the attack. It wasn't a southern border attack. It wasn't from an immigrant to the country. It was a United States citizen, a veteran. It was accompanied by this video, which, by the way, is a concerted effort on the part of the right wing to muddle this issue and call into question the motivations of immigrants into this country, whether they be undocumented or legally arriving. This is what they posted, which spurred her tweet. No fact check from the Congresswoman, just continuing on the cycle, the human centipede of garbage and disinformation.
According to federal sources, the suspect drove a truck with that Texas license plate, okay? So this is just coming into our newsroom. This is from Griff Jenkins and David Spunt working their federal sources on this. The suspect drives that truck with a Texas license plate right through Bourbon Street. According to their sources, to Spunt and Jenkins, this person came through Eagle Pass, Texas 2 days ago, okay? So we're gonna leave that up on your screen. And these are just those new photos. I just keep thinking, from covering these things and also from going to these big events and, wanting to be.
They later retracted that. And the tweet that I just showed you from her is still up, which is accompanied by this particular community note. Fox News has now retracted their earlier claim that the suspect in the New Orleans attack drove the truck across the border a couple days ago in Eagle Pass, Texas. Tweet's still up, though. There's not a follow-up tweet saying, hey, I'm not going to delete that because I want everybody to transparency within my rule as a congresswoman. But that's wrong. It was wrong. She didn't even do that. She's just continuing on. I was right. Trump was right. We're right. Fear, fear, fear. Southern border, when it had nothing to do with the southern border. We need and deserve serious leadership in scary times. Donald Trump does not inspire confidence. He certainly doesn't inspire fear in our enemies the way they claim he does. He's still tweeting about how we're a laughing stock. The laughing stock is the fact that you're going to be president again, Donald, and nobody at all is afraid or intimidated by your lack of leadership. We are a joke, again, because you again will be president of the United States. We are at greater risk of terrorism because you are a feckless goober, a coward, and a weakling, an insecure puke that will endanger lives. There will invariably be more attacks like this from unhinged individuals, whether they be mentally incompetent, suffering from mental illness, or motivated by terror reasoning to try to have a political objective be met through violence and intimidation and the threat of violence. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. Let me say this. I know, I'm in independent media. We talk about independent media being important all the time. It's very likely this video is going to be demonetized, even though I didn't show any footage. I would not do that. I can barely watch the footage myself. It's very likely to be demonetized. I mean, hopefully not. That would be fantastic. But if you're in a position to support independent media, and if I'm that guy, if I'm not that guy, go support somebody that brings you more value than me. But if it is me, please consider supporting the work. Become a channel member. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/iDataPodcast. And for $2 a month, you can help support this work in the face of a dangerous world where videos like this will likely be demonetized because of the sensitive nature of talking about terrorist attacks or school shootings or violence in general. YouTube is weary of that, so they don't put ads against it. And this, after all, is a job, and this is how I eat. So let me know what you think. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to see you there. And look, be careful out there. Take care of yourselves, be genuine, and take care of one another.